Usually it's only 1, 2. Used to be just me sitting in the audience.
Hold on.
Anything to do with.
That was on 25 plus years ago, so.
Yeah, that was a whole the other night. I don't know.
She got a meeting tomorrow, right?
Yep.
We're over, company's over, but I figured waiting up and see if Brent shows up, whatever, but. Just waiting on this to finish loading and on YouTube. Wife says, big meeting tonight, I said, no. They're pretty simple.
If the public's gonna show up, they'll let you.
Yeah. I only had one person come in today asking about it since it's been posted.
Yeah.
He just lived at the other end of Beltona. So he wasn't near, he was just interested where it was going on the other end, like towards MCI. Oh,
I was caught a little off guard that it was only advertised once, 2 weeks ago.
oh, was it?
Yeah, I've only seen it in the paper one time.
Oh,
June 30th.
that's why I had it 2 weeks ago, so they could have it posted 2 times.
Yeah, I've only seen it that once, and I had somebody call me up and going, so I said, hey, I go to every meeting and it's the first I've heard of it.
Oh. I did not know that. I'll have to see if they billed us. So, yeah. There we go. All right. Where'd you go? Good go? Yes. Back meeting, pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next thing on is adoption of minutes from June 16th meeting.
I make a motion that we adopt the minutes of the June 16 meeting.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
No.
Look for a motion to, vote in favor of adopting the minutes. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing. Anybody in the audience want to speak? No?
I mean, you order it before the explanation of everything.
Guess that's fine. Did you come because of that?
I did.
Okay,
I'd like to hear what,
you want it?
hear what's gonna go on before I maybe make any comments.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Oh, we can adjust things a little bit. Yeah. I guess you're up.
Well, thank you. Appreciate being here again. My name is Fergus Cullen on behalf of Loki Solar, here tonight to talk about a land use and site plan application regarding a property on Horseback Road. It is map 8, lot 2-1. Again, I'm Fergus Cullen. I'm a member of the planning board in Dover, New Hampshire. So I appreciate you meeting on Mondays and not on Tuesdays, which gives me the opportunity to be here with you tonight. So this is a 100-acre parcel. We are proposing to use a little bit less than 10 acres of it for a just under 1 megawatt solar array. That would be about 1.46 megawatts DC power, enough to power roughly 160 residential homes. This would be a ground mounted array. It would be a single access array, so it would be run north to south. The panels would face the east in the morning, rotate over the top, and face the west in the afternoon. It would involve just over 3,000 individual panels, 3,024 with 8 inverters, some power equipment, and 4 utility poles. We do propose enclosing the array with a fence, probably 4-inch knot hole fencing, which allows small animals to pass through, although if the town had another requirement, we would certainly be receptive to that. We have applied for the interconnection agreement with CMP. That is still in their process, but we have every expectation that we will be receiving that. When I was here a couple weeks ago, the planning board requested a couple of things, an improved site plan, which I sent to Russell, and I believe that you have that's easier to read. In addition to that, you asked for a decommissioning plan. We've submitted that, so I hope you have a copy of that. You also asked for a letter of credit from our financial partners. I do not have that in hand. We've been scrambling a little bit to try and get it for you tonight. I'm hoping that you might be open to having that as a condition of approval as we work to get that to you. And then the fourth request that you had regarding the DEP permit by rule and stormwater plan. So DEP has just over the last couple of months revised how they handle permit by rule applications. Their preference now is that the contractor is actually performing the construction work, submit for those permits so that they can be bought into the stormwater management plan. Which I think actually has a lot of rationale to that. So what we would like to request is that you consider having those as a condition of a building permit. But I want to be responsive, of course, to your requests. This is Loki Solar is a main company. We're based out of Kittery. We are working on 8 or 9 similar projects right now in the state of Maine. We have completed 5 projects that we brought all the way through the process that are now operating. All of those are in Down East in Machias and Machiasport. Some of our other projects that we're working on, let's see, included one in Wilton that got permitted just last week. We were working on one in Sydney, one in Milo. I'll be before the Freiburg Planning Board next week on a project. We're developing one in Sydney, so they're around that we're also working on, very similar in scale. So with that, I will stop my general description of what we're interested in and turn it back over to the board if you have questions or perhaps want to hold a public hearing.
We,
One, the public hearing.
I guess we could open up to a public hearing and then we could ask questions at the same time, so. I guess that's what we'll do now, we'll open up to a public hearing. Anybody interested, you know.
You want me to state my name and address for the record?
Yeah, I guess might as well.
Pete Lodge, 127 School Street. I just wanted to say that I don't think there's much that can be done, but I definitely don't like seeing our land being used for this purpose. I have no problem for building solar farms over parking lots. That's a good place for one.
Yeah.
That's my first comment. Second comment is, isn't there also a snowmobile access trail that runs through this piece of property?
Yes, I think that was
Is
discussed.
that gonna be affected by this?
I think it was talked about, and I'm not real familiar with it, that they were thinking of moving it on the outside of the fence line or something along that line. But I.
Yeah, you wanna speak on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Thank you. There is an existing snowmobile trail and our intent is to relocate it within the property so that it is preserved as a throughway there. Our intent is probably to move it closer to Horseback Road, where there'll be room on the other side of the fence for it to go through. Its existing passage, we would anticipate having an array there, but our intent is absolutely to preserve that corridor so the snowmobiles can pass through the property.
That was,
That's my 2 cents.
okay,
No, for what it's worth.
I guess if that's all there is in the public hearing, I guess we can close the public hearing and then come back to us, I guess. Any other discussion items or?
First of all, how do you feel about dealing with the stormwater as a condition?
I have no issues with that as long as everything is.
You're the one that's gonna,
Yeah,
you're the one that's gonna man, and from my sheet, that's what I think, that You're gonna be managing that if we make it a condition.
Yeah, and they'll submit their plans and then we'll go from there if there's any questions or DEP or,
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be, you have the wetlands right around you over there, which aren't too far, but if there's any questions, I can bring it back in front of the board.
Good, yeah, essentially, the contractor that's gonna perform the construction will be the one that has to apply for the DEP permit, correct?
And again, this is a change just over the
Right.
last 6 months in how DEP handles these.
Right.
So, previously we would have applied, it would be a copy of it would be posted
Right.
here for 30 days. We would have to notify butters of that, but they've changed that just this year. Again, I think it's a pretty good rationale that they have, that they want the contractor performing the work on the stormwater to make sure that they're complying exactly with.
Right,
with
it's probably easier dealing with.
And to hold them accountable.
Right, the dealing with one person instead of going through multiple people, probably makes it a little quicker.
I guess that would be my only thought,
Right.
that you're gonna come on to you
Yeah, and I'll go over
to. I
there.
mean, would you be down there inspecting it some anyways, once they,
I would, and I'd be going over their plans, making sure that they're sticking to the exact, I
Yeah.
dealt with this recently with a subdivision. Making sure that they were sticking to DEP's plans, somebody had issues, questions about flooding. And as long as they're sticking to what the plans are that are created. There's not much more for me to do unless they're intentionally doing something totally off the record.
Right.
Then we'll address it, but.
does anybody remember how Chimbro handles stormwater in the sense of that? I mean, when they went,
It was part of the DEP application, right?
it was.
And not speaking out of turn, but it was a little different for most of theirs, because they were the owner of the property anyway, so, so it wasn't like they're doing it on someone else's property, so everything was directly to them.
Yeah.
Anybody see anything in the decommissioning that stands out or anything?
No.
No.
Alright.
So essentially, if we okay tonight, it would be pending the permit and I guess the letter from creditor. Yeah, which isn't too bad.
When were you gonna start doing stuff down there?
Potentially as soon as this fall, we're anxious to get underway.
I mean, if I remember, you weren't gonna go clear cut the whole thing, I mean, you're just clear cutting the area where the arrays are gonna go, right? Correct?
That's correct, and also leaving a tree buffer between the existing camp and the array.
Yeah.
And we'll have to have some accommodation for the snowmobile trail, but there's going to be some 10 or 12 feet on the outside of the fence that we think will probably suffice for that.
I mean, should we be more detailed with communicating for the snowmobile trail with these guys from our sheet?
It really comes down to it's private property, they can do whatever they want.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah,
Allowing a snowmobile trail is
it's up to the property owner.
is up to the property owner, it's, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but it's, they're doing it on their graces, so to speak.
Right, yeah,
So I think if the property owner is willing to allow the snowmobile trail in whatever fashion is suitable for them, I don't think the snowmobile club should look at gift horse in their mouth, so to speak, if they have,
oh, right.
if they have the
Oh,
access, it's not like, they can make them go through the swamp, 10 miles around the back or anything.
What does it sound like what he's?
Right, no, cause it make, if they're gonna allow for snowmobile trails, the shortest distance between 2 points makes it smartest, easiest for everybody. So. Anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah.
So I
It's
guess,
progress, and it's happening,
I guess I would look for a motion to accept tonight in with with, say, DEP permit and letter from financial, there's the only. I lost that word tonight, but, yeah, condition for the conditional use. So if I could have a motion on that, second,
Yeah, I'll second it.
any more discussion?
No,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. I guess. I guess we
We're probably a
got,
little more laid back than Dover.
You know, our community, we're mostly dealing with housing issues,
Yeah.
but, every community is a little bit different.
Yeah.
you know, if you wanted to put it. Yeah, I don't, someplace. Less suitable, so to speak, probably would have been a little different.
Well, you've revised your ordinance, to restrict where these are permitted, where you want them, where you don't want them, and, so.
I'm just curious, how many other of these sites that you said that you're managing and doing? How many of those on those sites, did you go in and do harvesting prior to putting in the solar field?
How many were in an existing green field versus a wooded lot?
Yeah, I mean, was in the wooded lots, is there other, is that a high?
Probably about, I'd have to think, but probably about 50-50.
Really?
Yeah. This particular property, right, is damp. There's not a lot of other potential uses for this property in terms of putting it to productive use other than wildlife habitat. And so it does vary. Certainly we try not to cut a tree until we're like ready to actually build the next week, so we're not going into clear and then figure it out later.
It always gets, I'm not saying people shouldn't be concerned on cutting. Unnecessarily, so to speak, but cutting woods, or cutting trees and things. People don't realize the state of Maine today from 100 years ago is huge percentage more wooded land now than it was 100 years ago. Huge number.
I think a lot of people in the state of Maine would debate that with you, but maybe not.
No, but it's true. I've seen evidence myself, like a lot of old photographs and things along with another hobby. And I can bring you places that you can't see 200 feet, and 100 years ago, you could see 10 miles. I mean, just unbelievable difference. I'm not saying they should do that again, so to speak, but things are a lot different.
Oh, yeah, things are a lot different.
But,
today than
I would
100
rather,
years ago.
cut down trees and put it in solar than take an existing potentially useful agricultural land.
Yeah,
But anyways. I guess you're all set.
well, you've got your approval, good luck with it.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, okay.
Cooperation.
Yes, you'll be seeing him.
Yeah, I'll be in touch.
We have any old business? Nothing, no new business? We have one discussion item. Are you aware of this on the council, the discussion item?
I had heard through the grapevine that there was somebody interested in having some dogs,
But you don't know any more than that?
not much more.
My one question for him was the other day when he mentioned to me was, do they want the ducks because of duck eggs? Or,
Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
Yeah, I still don't have the answer for that. I think some of the people may want to have ducks with their chickens in town. And it says only chickens, and what's the count, 6, I believe, for most of these
Right.
residential
Something like that.
districts. So allowing, if we bring it up, 6 chickens, 6 ducks, I don't really see.
well, it's all things that and I was thinking about that, I don't know if you limit it to 6 total. And they can have whatever number they want of each, but, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I just put it as a discussion.
Right,
item.
we're not making a decision on this,
Exactly, have a good one.
so I guess you can listen to our discussion and bring it to.
Well, that's what I was interested in when I saw it.
Yeah.
I had heard a little bit that somebody wanted it.
Right, and I know people that have ducks for duck eggs, but I didn't know if they wanted ducks because they have a pond and they want, the other thing is, unless the wings are clipped with things, they're gonna, they're gonna fly. So that's another thing, you know, so there's a lot of little things there that, we don't know the answers to. You know, I hate to say it, but I don't care. But, it won't affect me directly, but, but that's not, anybody else have their?
I was just curious, the last sentence in here, female chickens shall not be allowed in mobile home parks. What was the intent there?
I'm guessing to keep people from trying to have a farm behind A.E. Robinson or something like that. And I feel like that would fall more on the parks to uphold,
Right.
what they would want for animals in their parks. So this hasn't been updated in
So they're saying no chickens, no ducks, no nothing in the mobile home parks.
yes.
I just did not understand.
No, so in town, it's technically like a no pro zone, no roosters, only females. Hens are allowed, which I do get complaints every so often when somebody does decide to have a rooster, or you just buy them at,
Oh, yeah, because.
you get
I know what you got.
and you don't know what you got until they're growing, and then you get neighbors complaining that, hey, this thing's waking me up every morning, and I'm over.
And are they in these residential or commercial zones?
But this is all in residential and
Oh, really?
and commercial zones, but in
So how
the
long have you been here?
as the codes officer, about a year and a half, animal control. 3 years, 4 years now.
4 years? And how many times has someone called you? Just roughly?
4, maybe 5.
Maybe 5, okay.
Yeah. So.
And they called you, and one person has called you, 4 different people, one time, they haven't called back?
And I usually go out, talking to people, they have no problem getting rid of their roosters or rehoming them. Once in a while, I've come across the random rooster that it was a really nice rooster, actually. It was kept running over to this lady's house, and she thought it was gonna get hit in the road, and nobody wanted to claim it. And I wasn't looking to get anybody in trouble, but as soon as they show up, is this your rooster? No, that's not mine. And so then I'm stuck trying to rehome roosters, and they're not easy to rehome because most people who can have roosters already have roosters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, roosters are gonna fight.
yeah. So I've had to relocate some all the way from.
How many have you relocated?
I would say 2 or 3, and then the other people have found homes on farming pages for them.
Or freezer.
Wait. I was trying to. Yeah,
So that's not gonna go away, probably.
no, we'll keep that.
That will be still.
So how do you feel personally about adding ducks to the town?
So to me, ducks don't really make that much of a difference to me, depending on the breed that can fly. If it's a pekin, they're so heavy, they're not really flying anywhere.
Make sure this would be ducks and no geese.
Yes, that was the other thing. So we don't want somebody trying to get geese around here.
Yeah,
They will make a lot of noise and they can be mean.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So with the ducks, I don't really see that big of a difference, if anything. I've had ducks, what was that?
Are these ducks being kept as like domestic pets or ducks for meat or like ducks for eggs?
We don't know exactly.
Yeah, we don't know exactly yet,
Okay.
but
Is that something that we want to like specify that they can only be for X or Y, or do we not care?
to me, I personally don't care if it's your pet, if it's your service chicken. Instead of have them, you have them, and
Very reliable.
Yeah.
I,
So at the end of the year, if you're butchering it, that's for you.
Okay.
Stick to around the number that you're supposed to have.
And I'm not sure on ducks, are all ducks, can you, like mallard ducks and stuff like that, can you have mallard ducks or are they? Are there certain breeds that because of being wild that you're not supposed to have? Like,
Yeah, and I feel like that would come with any type of animal, like you're allowed to have pet snakes, but there's certain ones that are prohibited, or turtles. I've dealt with that a few times up here. I actually just dealt with one recently.
Turtle?
On Sebasticook Street. Yeah, somebody released the turtle that it was a red-eared slider. They're illegal in the state of Maine.
Illegal?
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
what do they do to release it? What do you mean?
they just let it go over there on Sebasticook Street and somebody found it. So yeah, so
And you just found the original owner?
no, I didn't find the original owner. That went to Dr. Drews, the vet down there, and the last one he'd helped me with when I was covering all the towns as ACO. I had gotten one out of a warrant in Palmyra, and he actually worked and got it flown back out to the Midwest where it belonged. Yeah, but
Wow.
there's only a real small amount of places that can take them. And then another one I had brought to the
Hello?
Hello,
hello.
hi,
Hi.
I'm trying to reach Officer Lowe.
Everything. Oh, he if you go,
Yes, he was with me, I need to tell him she's here.
okay, go out back and I'll make a phone call right now to him. All right, so
I guess you have no more information then.
I don't know, then, I just somebody approach the council trying to figure out how we can get the ordinance changed.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I'd be a little bit more interested in what their purpose is. I don't have any problem if they want eggs or meat or just a pet, but, you know,
So I don't have any problem at all with ducks at all, but. If the intent was to only have 6 chickens or 6 ducks. I don't think you should be able to have 12
right.
birds.
Good point. I like that point. I
Yeah,
agree.
or my thought
The
was-
quantity would still say it's 6.
Max out.
And you, if you wanted 2 ducks or, 4 chickens, that's your 6.
Right,
Something like
that's
that.
your 6.
Because otherwise,
I like that.
it might just get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, then next year someone will come in and they want. I think it's rabbit, well, they don't, rabbits are probably okay, I don't know, but just. I'm glad I live up the country.
Yeah.
And, I used to have almost 800 or 900 animals, cows. I don't have nothing right now,
You have a cat, I'm sure.
no,
You don't have a
I
cat?
never had cats. My oldest daughter was always allergic to cats, we never had cats anyways, there was always a couple of cats at the farm, but,
Yeah.
so. And, and I always like to have a dog, I miss having a dog, but. What I don't miss is, like 2 weeks ago, my wife and I left for a week to go to the West Coast, and. Cause my mother's passed now, and don't have any place, easy to take the dog, so. That's why we don't have a dog. But,
Yeah.
um,
Well, there's no discussion.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. That's one thing, not have 6 chickens plus 6 ducks.
Yeah, so that, we've kind of come to a consensus that the number of 6 stays, you can have a combination of whatever, and I wanna say it's not written in stone, because it's not our decision, but it kind of makes sense, because, if you had 6 chickens and you had 6 ducks, like I said, next year they're gonna come in and they want 6 rabbits legal in town.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was just trying to think of something that
yeah,
wasn't on the list now,
yeah.
But like you were saying before, I mean, the other thing I'd worry about is, geese and, what's next.
Yes, exactly. It's where do you draw the line? Because people are gonna continue to want more and more. And then we'll
I let him have that, why can't I have that?
Exactly. You let one person have a goose, then someone's
Well,
gonna say,
say no.
what's the difference between a goose?
Say no if we don't think we should. I don't know, myself. I'm in a place where I live, it's kind of reserved, but I guess,
And ducks aren't any noisy. They're not any noisier than a chicken for,
No.
a goose is loud.
yeah,
But unless you're within distance to meet a peep, you're barely gonna hear a duck.
they'll make the soft noise.
in these zonings, they can't have free range anyways, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they all have to be,
yeah.
And I don't know personally how well ducks would do, same thing like cages, I guess that I'm thinking small cages, but if they're in a fenced in area, probably don't make too much difference.
Yeah, I've had ducks and chickens, they would hang out
how
together.
how the ducks do in the winter time though?
And they're warm blooded, they do pretty well. well, cold-blooded, then,
Yeah.
yeah, but they do just fine.
Yeah, they're probably, they would do better than chickens.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, okay,
so we came to that consensus, 6 in total, so
Yeah.
keep that and work on a ordinance adding that and.
So I guess, but this is going, the council's gonna decide if it's gonna go to an ordinance.
I think it'll go to the ordinance committee.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Okay,
So this will be our recommendation probably, that'll go to the ordinance committee,
Okay.
which I am on, but.
yeah. Do you have anything different than
No.
we're talking?
you're the one that wants the ducks.
No.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of, you know, a little amusing, we have to, you know, deal with, you know, we think about dealing with all these other housing issues and everything else, and we're talking about chickens and ducks, but you know.
From a multi-million solar
Right.
project to ducks.
Yeah, but I guess it is what it is. So I guess we're all done on that discussion item, on the KV cog one, you wanna,
So, yes, KV Cog's been working, for a few months now, and they were addressing some of, so they went over our codes and ordinances, and they were kind of just like, how does anybody even understand these? It kind of seems like over the years, things were just kind of plugged in and contradict themselves throughout. And they're working with us on the LD 2003, which is for housing, to get up to code with the state. So they wanna, kind of go over what they've kind of put together and change in our ordinance for us to adopt it. It's long overdue, it needs to happen, and there's still.
so would this presentation be just for our board or for council and everything?
So it would go in front of us at first here.
Okay,
And before it would move forward.
okay,
But I figured I'd have them come, they will do a
Right.
lot better job.
Right.
With explaining it and being able to answer any questions. And then it would, kind of like the solar ordinance, then it would go to a public hearing.
right,
And then,
Ordinance, I think.
yep, and then it would go to council and then,
right.
you know, so it's a process.
Process.
Yeah, but we'll,
But I just wasn't sure if they're just doing this as a presentation to get us up to speed, that if it was just for us or for the council, that, you know.
so will we be getting a copy of what they're gonna present to us
yes, yeah,
prior to the?
yeah, so.
meeting?
Yes, I'll make sure you guys get that ahead of time, instead of printing the whole ordinance and,
Yeah.
you know, some pages they didn't really change anything. I'm gonna have them kind of like pull out and put it separately, so you guys will have that, and you guys can compare it instead of printing off hundreds,
Right.
if not thousands of pages.
Well, I say you just email us a PDF, but that's just my thought.
And I have no problem with that either. So as of today, I just wanted to kind of get you guys in the loop and see if that date works for you guys.
Too
You know,
early to know, right?
huh?
It's too early to know.
You know, so, but, I told them if we had any questions, we can change the date and go from there, but that was when they were gonna be.
What day is that?
That's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah,
Oh, it is a Monday night?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll commit to it, but, you know,
no
things
problem.
could change.
I get it. So,
Yeah, I think. Far I can tell right now, technically, yes, be okay.
okay.
Oh, there we go. Good one.
Yeah, so I guess we'll run with that date, and then if anything changes, or,
Right.
you know, I'll reach out to the other members that aren't here to confirm with them as well.
Yeah.
But if anything changes, I'll definitely let you guys know sooner than later.
When are they gonna give you the copies, you think?
I could reach out to them tomorrow, I just told them I'd run the date tonight by you guys
Yeah.
and kind of brief you on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it
Not
works.
that I'm anxious to read it all. But
But yeah,
I'll make an effort.
yeah, but it's long overdue. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Good.
so we're gonna keep chipping away at these things and get everything good.
So basically, the gist of what they've done is just clean things up, nothing's really been changed, it's just
Yes,
the
like,
wording and, you know. little things.
Exactly, and like now things are being updated to match for housing with the state ordinance are and things like that, cause like the tiny homes and, you know, lot size and in-law apartments, these things have all been, you know, like we have in some zones, a minimum of 750 square feet for a dwelling. Some people don't want that, they're like, well, like an older lady, she's like, I'm content with like one of those Hillview mini barn things being
Right.
fully, you know, will have a septic, will have everything, but it's only 600 square feet.
Mhm.
Which is perfect for her,
Yeah.
you know, I have no issue with that, but I can't approve that if it's, you know, if the zone's calling for something totally.
Yeah, and that's the thing, in long-term discussions on those, basically, the biggest, or not the biggest, but one of the complaints was, you know. Those, you know, someone putting in a small or, you know, tiny home, whatever, right in the neighborhood of. You know, I was gonna say $250,000, but $500,000 houses and stuff like that, not fitting in and people worried about changing their valuations, things of that sort, you know, there's been some discussion of that in the past, but, you know. But the world is, you know, these smaller houses and stuff, more efficient houses and stuff are being pushed pretty hard, which isn't always a bad thing, you know.
That's a good thing. It'll attract people my age to the town, which is kind of what we need. I mean, like, there's a reason I bought my house, it's because it's what I can afford and it's listed as 425 square feet. Even though it is technically 2 stories, so it's double that, but it
Yeah,
doesn't really count. So like, but yeah, if there were more houses like that and it works perfectly for 2 people,
yeah,
it's really quite a good size, so it'd be nice to see more of that.
Yeah, and most, you know. And they'll still have to follow building codes and everything else, and so, you know, in theory. They'll be better built than a big percentage of houses out there, you know, for, you know. For heating and everything else, you know, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of the stuff that was built. You really didn't get a lot of. You know, I don't wanna say properly insulated houses and stuff until you get into the. You know, mid-70s oil prices started changing things, you know. But, you know, I remember a lot of houses in the 60s, early 70s built. You know, 4-inch walls, just a little bit of insulation and electric baseboard. It went up quick, reasonable, and until prices of everything went through the roof, you know. They were actually, you know, they worked good, you just get to the point where you couldn't afford it. But, you know, heat pumps are going that way, going fast that way, you know, electric prices are going up, you know. You know, they push heat pumps so hard, you know, heat pumps are good, but they're not the end all be all, the answer, not in this part of the country, you know.
They're nice, but they're not everything.
Yeah. And, you know. As far as I'm concerned, I've talked to a lot of other people. You know, almost anywhere is in New England or north, you know, northern tier of the country, you should have minimum 2 heating sources. You know, so you don't have to worry about, you know, if something goes down, you know, something being there in a short period of time. You know, you don't have to have every single thing working in the house, but you know, enough to survive a day or two.
Yep.
You know, makes pretty good sense.
absolutely. So, yeah, that was pretty
Yeah,
much
so-
that.
Any other discussion items? Anybody got anything in their mind?
No.
Nothing else from the peanut gallery?
Nope.
Yeah, I guess at that point, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Russell.